Hey everybody, this is TJR. You know, when I was a kid, there was no internet, no cable TV, there was no owning or even renting a movie. You had 3 major networks and a couple of local TV stations. Back then, there was always something to watch on TV, but the only problem was that most of it was pretty bad. Local stations ran lots of bad old movies that they could get their hands on for cheap, and at night the major networks gave us a lot of insipid bad dramas and comedy shows. Growing up, it was not uncommon for my brothers and sisters and myself to crack gags while these bad shows aired. So when I first heard the concept behind Mystery Science Theater 3000, I knew this was the show for me. And I think that a lot of MST's fans grew up in the same environment. So much bad TV, so many bad movies. Someone needed to make fun of it. And finally someone was. So this was definitely the show for me. The only problem was that I couldn't watch it. You see, in the city that I was living in at that time, our cable company didn't carry Comedy Central as part of their channel lineup. And at that time, I was living in probably the lowest rent apartment that I had ever or will ever live in, so there was no way I was moving out. Now, true, by this time we had cable TV, and we certainly had video rentals, but remember, this was still before the age of accessibility that we live in right now. So finally, the irony of ironies occurred. My cable company finally started carrying Comedy Central as part of their channel lineup, and Comedy Central canceled the series. Luckily, though, a friend of mine had videotaped a lot of the earlier shows, and so I finally got to see at least a good handful of the episodes. And after all the hype, all the anticipation of, wishing I could see this show, it might have been a letdown, but it wasn't. It was funnier than I could have even imagined it being. Of course, that was then, this is now, and now, of course, I can, rent DVDs of the series. I can purchase DVDs. I can watch episodes on YouTube. So needless to say, I was really thrilled to hear that MST would be making a return on Netflix Instant. Now, returning for this revival is show creator Joe Hodgson. He left the series sometime during its initial Comedy Central run due to creative differences, but I'm glad that he is back. But I'm also kind of sorry that some of the original writers, Mike Nelson, Bill Corbett, and Kevin Murphy, who have been carrying the torch since the show's cancellation with riff tracks, are not involved. Hopefully, they might get the chance to collaborate again on the show if we get another season. But that being said, I want to say that this revival accomplishes what it sets out to do. Now, a lot of fans, while hopeful, were also justifiably skeptical. I mean, after all, can you capture lightning in a bottle a second time? Well, I am only 5 episodes in, but I will say at this point, yes, this is MST. It is back, and it's as funny as it's ever been. Some of the special effects have gotten a little bit of an upgrade, and the puppetry work on the series robots is improved, but the show still has that low-budget, hey gang, let's put on a show kind of charm to it. This time around, we do have some bigger stars now sitting in for the mad scientists, and we even have some occasional big-name guest stars. But everyone is performing in the spirit of the original series, and so far, everyone seems committed to the premise that it's about the show and not them. 5 episodes in, and Jonah is settled in as the show host. He isn't Joel, and he isn't Mike. He's Jonah, and he feels like he's always been there. I love that Felicia Day is singing at least part of the show's opener. I would love it if she could have sung the whole thing, but hey, you can't have everything. I love the Skeleton Crew band. In fact, I wish I was in that band. Or are they called the Boneheads? I'm not sure. But anyways, I love their musical breaks between clips. And as for the gags, well, there are a few modern-day references to things like, say, Instagram or terms like trending. But otherwise, the jokes they're using now could have fit in easily as they did 20 some odd years ago. If I have any complaint at all, and this is minor, it's the rapid fire pace of the gags. In some cases, you barely get a chance to assimilate one gag when two or more are thrown at you. Once again, this is not a major complaint, but it does feel like just a little bit of editing is needed. For the most part, I think it's better within a 10-second time frame to go for one really great gag and jettison the lesser of the two gags that get shoved into you at the same 10-second spot. Other than this, though, I can't complain. You know, when a cult show with a passionate fan base like this gets revived, it's easy to have unrealistic expectations, and this is because the revival is fighting against the prejudice of your memories, which only remembers the very best of what you liked about the series and forgets about the parts that, well, not unenjoyable, just weren't as strong as what we do remember. You know, I love Star Trek the Original Series, and when I reflect back on it, I remember the series' high points. I tend to kind of gloss over the low points like Spock's brain. When I remove the prejudice of memory, it becomes clear to me that MST3K is back in all its goofy and fun glory, and I'm very grateful that it's back. In closing, all I can say is that with the world right now standing on the brink of nuclear annihilation, it's good to know that there is a new season of Mystery Science Theater 3000 here to help make it all go down just a little bit easier. So have you watched the revival yet? What do you think? Do you agree with me? Either way, I'm really anxious to read your comments. Thanks everybody for watching, and if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel. Bye.